Well, hello, our fellow friends, our fellow neighbors, and our fellow shining stars. Our next trolley stop is here, and our next trolley stop is now. Welcome back to another all-new episode of PR from the Heart's children's book spotlight series. To be precise, we have reached episode number 174. That is the 174th trolley stop here at the Children's Book Spotlight Series and PR from the Heart. I know many of you missed this little guy, John Masiulionis, the manager of PR from the Heart, the host of the Children's Book Spotlight Series, along with my little guy, little Forrest. We are super excited to spend more time with all of you as we are approaching the end of the school year. We are approaching the start of the summer, and it's one of the most important times of the year for us here at PR from the Heart, as well as for parents and caregivers and educators, as well as grandparents as well too, because it's so important, especially as we head into the summertime, and really not even just one specific time of the year. Each and every day, it's important that we do our part to be able to nurture our children's mental health. So May happens to be National Mental Health Awareness Month, and our little ones, they're growing and they're becoming better versions of themselves each and every day. But just like us as grown adults, they can move through their anxieties, their fears, their insecurities. And so it's really our responsibility, again, as parents and caregivers and educators, and even if there's just a trusted little one or little ones that you have in your life, if you're an aunt or you're an uncle, it's really important that we do our part to lay a solid foundation for our little ones as they're doing their part to become higher and better versions of themselves. Specific themes come to mind that we're going to be sharing about and discussing here on episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series, including friendship, gratitude, and self-love. And when we do our part to help our little ones to connect to friendship, the healing power of friendship, to gratitude, which is really the gift that keeps on giving, and where it all begins and where it all ends, self-love. Because in order for you to be able to love other people, it's truly important that you learn to love yourself. When we do our part to teach our little ones about these messages, remind them each and every day about them, we are in truth and in reality doing our part to help our little ones learn to fly. Isn't that right, little Forrest? And so leave it to a brand new children's book series to help us lead the way when it comes to reminding us to be able to teach our little ones about friendship, gratitude, and self-love, and really what it means to fly in 2023 and beyond. We encourage all of you, our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars, to be able to head on over to Amazon.com, if that is your preferred online vehicle of your choosing. The Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series is now available. We encourage you to purchase your copies of Blueley, the Happy Bluebird, a book about friendship and self-love, and Blueley, the Happy Bluebird, a book about gratitude and self-love. I am super excited to be able to welcome our featured guest here on episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series, which, by the way, one last thing before I forget, one of the many ways that you can pledge your support for Sara D'Ambrosio, the creator of the Blueley, the Happy, the Bluebird series, is to leave a 5-star review on Amazon. One of the many ways you can pledge your support for Sara and let her know that she is doing wonderful and much needed work for children, parents, families, educators, those who love great children's books, and most importantly, all of the young bluebirds that are out there in the world. So the trolley is traveling all the way from San Diego, California to Houston, Texas, beautiful city of Houston. Joining us is our featured guest here on episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series, children's author and the creator of the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series, Sara D'Ambrosio. Sara, we really appreciate your free time and joining myself and little Forrest. How are things with you to kick off the month of May?
Yay! Everything is awesome. Thank you, John. Thank you for the invite. I'm so happy and blessed to be here today with you, with all of you.
This is going to be an exciting episode of the Children's Book Spotlight Series. If these messages that we are already discussing and communicating and sharing are lifting your spirits, if they're raising your vibration, If anything, if you're moving through a little bit of a challenging time, or you know someone who is moving through a challenging time in their life, especially that of a little one of the many ways you can also pledge your support for us here at PR from the Heart in the Children's Book Spotlight series, as well as Sarah, is to be able to subscribe to PR from the Heart's official YouTube channel and to share this very special trolley stop that you are now enjoying. That is episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight series. This is such... I'm trying to find a word to describe the joy that I have in my heart. Besides just joy and happiness after reading both of your books, your series are coming out, it's really coming out at a very pivotal time in not only in our lives, but the lives of our children. You know, thankfully, we're on the other side of the pandemic, but kids are still moving through a lot. Just because the pandemic is over doesn't necessarily mean that everything is always rainbows and gumdrops on planet Earth, so to speak. I'm excited to talk about the series, the messages that are found within your books. We always like to start each Children's Book Spotlight series episode by diving into an author's origin story. So at some particular point in time, you obviously knew that this message needed to be shared. But oftentimes there's some sort of a miraculous tale or just something unexpectedly amazing that happens that really allows the idea to be able to be germinated in your mind and in your heart. And we're also looking forward to talking about your work as a mindset coach as well, too. Could you share with us, with all of our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars, when you knew the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series was meant to come to fruition, how it really came to be, and why the Bluebird? Because it's not just the characters in your book, but it really signifies something truly special for you. So by all means, feel free to be able to share further if you could.
Of course. Well, first of all, I'm so glad, so happy to be here. And also was tearing a little bit because just listening to you talking, and it's for me like such a great moment because I visualize all the time, right? And this was my dream come true, having the knowledge, the teachings, and everything that I do every single day, you know, and send this message out to children through my books. For me, it's something really special. So I love challenges, and everything started when I wrote my first nonfiction book, Mateo Awakening from Within. And I did this challenge because I always have this blockage that I don't have it right now, but it was like, my English is not good enough. Okay, that's my belief. That was my belief, but not anymore. So I challenged myself to write a nonfiction book in English. So it was just so funny, and self-published this book. So I was so blessed because after that, something came into my heart. Like I really have the feeling of teaching this message to children. And what a best way through a book, through a children's book. So yeah, everything just was meant to be, and it was just perfectly smooth and so easy. Like, of course, everything I have to learn and everything, but everything was perfect. Everything is fine. And Blueley came to me because I had already the character in my mind, because I'm also a product developer. And Blueley is one of those products that I want to, you know, some motivational products for kids to teach children how to love themselves and all these beautiful concepts. And since, well, it happens back in Peru many years ago, and a friend of mine told me that bluebirds means that good things are coming your way. And that's when I saw in the backyard, in her backyard. And I was like, since then I just didn't pay attention too much of that. And then things start happening, right? And every time that I was praying, or I was asking God for an answer, or something, I was going through a difficult stuff in my life, I will see a bluebird. It was for me like a message, you know, like, I'm here, everything is going to be fine. And it touched me, and it kept in my mind, and I was like, wow. And that was many years ago it started. And when I moved to Vegas, I used to live in Las Vegas too, I said to myself, you know what, I'm not gonna see any bluebird here. I know that because everything is rocks there and so dry, and I'm like, no. And I do remember exactly when my son was very little and the school bus picked him up in the back of the school bus. And I was like praying, I hope everything is fine. I know everything is going to be fine. God, please, because it was a special moment for me. And I saw this Bluebird, it says Bluebird in the back of the school bus. And I was like crying. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is so amazing. And then we moved into Texas. Then when I started with creating these products for children, I decided to do this Bluebird as my character there. But at that time, I didn't know I was going to write children's books. So when the idea came to me to write children's books, I have already the perfect character, which I love it. And it's so beautiful.
It's so important that we're hearing this right now, not only reading your books and learning more about Blueley, but Blueley, it's again, just trying to communicate this. It's so much more than just the character in a children's book. As you said, that it really signifies when you see a bluebird, it means that good things are coming your way. And we really need to have those reminders, because even when, things are going really well, there's, a part of you that could say, okay, well, things are going really well, what could happen tomorrow that would, take things down, so to speak. Or if you're really going through a challenging time, there's so many children. I was starting to do further research about the number of children and teens that are going through mental health challenges, that are going through anxiety, they're going through depression, they're on all sorts of antidepressants. We really need to be reminded every day about good things. Not only good things are on their way, but good things are here. And it's so important that we do that for those that are in our lives, whether it be our family, our friends, our loved ones. And we're going to be diving more into this as well during the course of our conversation. So you obviously knew that that Blueley had to come into the world, so to speak. So when we as creatives, when we have an idea, there's times where we can experience challenges, difficulties, obstacles, problems, stressors, troubles, worries, especially if there's something that we're really meant to do. You had mentioned earlier in the conversation that you had experienced writer's block previously. So the decision came, you knew that the Blueley series had to come to form and shape. Specifically, what were some of the challenges that you experienced along the way? And what were some of the things that helped you to get through to the other side of those challenges in the process?
I think the love for I teach, first of all, and the great feeling and my passion about showing and teaching these materials out there to the world, especially children. And I say especially is because now, as a mindset coach, I meet people every day with problems as an adult, and they want to change their mindset. How easier will be, when you do that when they're little. So much easier, right? So this is a crucial moment, and we as a parents we must help them, with positive concepts like, self-esteem, gratitude, self-love, respect, all these beautiful concepts.
And it's a matter of, when we do experience those challenges along the way, we always know that we're going to be getting the right insight, the right answers, the answers to our questions, as the expression comes to mind. You're very artistic as well, too, in terms of bringing Blueley to life. Was it really easy when you knew, like you saw the vision, okay, this is exactly what the books are meant to look like, these are the characters that are supposed to be in the book? Was that really an easy creative process, or did you experience maybe a little bit of challenge along the way in terms of truly making this book something very special?
Yeah, it was like magic. Everything start coming together so smoothly, and I start receiving ideas like intuitions. And I'm very intuitive a lot. Like my intuition is very strong, and I will just see faces, characters, and then I just put them together in my mind and I start drawing. And I made a character, like I said before, I will say maybe 3 years ago, because I wanted first to be a product, and it's still there. I'm still pitching for that, and it's a product, right? So I have already the character. So when I wanted to write a children's book, I already have the character, everything in my mind, and it was just like, everything was so smooth and easy.
we had touched upon at the beginning of our conversation how friendship and gratitude and self-love, how really those are the building blocks, so to speak. You could have written about different messages. You could have written about kindness, which is, along the lines of self-love, but you could have just written a happy-go-lucky, super fun children's book that really just didn't have any kind of specific messages. What specifically sticks out to you? Why did you select those three themes, friendship, gratitude, and self-love? Why did those stand out to you amongst the rest of the pack?
Gratitude is a beautiful energy. It's a power of energy. And we are in this state of gratitude. We are open like a channel to receive good things in our life, first of all. And self-love is one of the most important things, because if we don't love ourselves, we cannot reach things that we cannot be happy. First of all, we cannot reach things that we want in life. We will feel insecure. And for kids, it's so important they know that they are unique. I like to emphasize that in all my books from now on, all books, that they are unique and special. They are unique and special. They are perfect the way they are. Yes.
I'm really glad that you selected these themes, because again, it's not to say that the other themes aren't important. It's not to say that other sorts of fun children's books are not necessary. But again, these are messages that need to be shared even further. Again, as we mentioned, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. It's kind of like National Mental Health Awareness Month needs to be every day. It's not just one specific month. It's not just one specific day. And especially, again, we want to do our part to be better versions of ourselves, so that we can do our part to be better versions, so that we can help our little ones be better versions of themselves in the process as well, too. We are fully enjoying the Blueley the Happy Bluebird series on episode number 174, PR from the Heart's Children's Book Spotlight series. Joining us is children's author, mindset coach, and the creator of the Blueley the Happy Bluebird series, Sara D'Ambrosio, joining myself, John Masiulionis, and little Forrest. We are almost ready to dive into the pages of the Blueley the Happy the Bluebird series. We encourage all of you, our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars, to be able to head on over to Amazon.com. That is your preferred online vehicle of your choosing. You can leave a 5-star review for Blueley the Happy the Bluebird, a book about friendship and self-love, and also Blueley the Happy Bluebird, a book about gratitude and self-love. By leaving 5-star reviews for one or both books in the Blueley the Happy the Bluebird series, are basically reminding Sara that she's doing wonderful and much needed work for children, parents, families, educators, and those who love great children's books. For all educators out there across the country and around the world, if you are interested in facilitating a virtual or in-person author school visit with Sara, we've also included her website below in the description below of episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight series as well. I love how you also decided to release both books at the same time. Now, sometimes authors, when they have a series, they'll release the first book first, wait a few months, maybe a year, maybe even 2 years or 3 years, and then eventually the next book comes out. Before we dive into the pages of the Blueley the Happy the Bluebird series, can you share with us why you felt it was paramount to you, why it was important to you to be able to release both books simultaneously?
Yes, I have a story about it. I have a story to tell you about it, because that was on November, October when I started writing, and it was like, I was like a channel. I have to say, I was like a channel. I was so inspired. I think when you are so inspired and a good vibe, you attract things. And I was like a channel, and everything was so easy regarding to write everything, right? I actually wrote 5. I haven't ready, but I have to still work on the rest. But I was so excited about to publish all of them 5 at once. And then I said, hold on a moment. You have to think first about marketing and learn about this and all these things. You just cannot throw 5 books like that, right? Because they are so special. What happened was like more or less in October, November, when I started writing these children's books, I was going to travel to Peru with my family for Christmas, because I'm originally from Peru. And and something happened to me that I have to tell this story with you. I have to share this story with you, because it was like a miracle story. It was so amazing. So happens when I received a copy of my first children books, the one that talks about friendship and self-love. So Amazon came and delivered the book that morning, and I was on November during the week of Thanksgiving, and I have family from New York at home. We having breakfast. So I opened the door and I was so happy to see my copy, and I was like, yeah, I have my copy, and everybody was like congratulating me, you know, it was so special. It was a special moment. But before that, I told my sister-in-law that I had some pictures, old pictures from Peru. And I don't know what happened. She told me, Sara, you remember that you told me that you're gonna show me those pictures? And I said, oh yes, hold on, I'm gonna go. I went to my my bedroom and grabbed the pictures. I showed to her, and she was going through the pictures, and I was going through my book to see how everything was and everything. And she looked at me, like she stared at me and amazed. She was like amazed. I was like, Sara. I was like, what? I was like, do you see the pictures? I said, look the pictures. And she showed me this picture, the one I have here. And I don't know if you see this one here, but it's my dad in Peru 60 years ago. He was in his 20s. My dad now is 83 years old. And he's holding a bird. So I know I have this picture with me all the time in my drawer, but I never realized that the bird was a bluebird. And I was crying because how does it happen that the same morning, the same day that I got my very first copy of Blueley, the Happy Bluebird, and right there, my sister-in-law asked me to show the pictures, and it's just like everything was so perfectly at that moment. And it was so special, and I felt like I was crying because for me it was like a miracle. It was like, wow, I do really have a strong connection with this bird somehow, you know? And I do believe that. So I was like, wow, and that I have to put that, I have to dedicate that book to my dad. That was my second book, the one who talks about gratitude. And I dedicate that book for my dad. It's my second book, and yes, I tell the story too in the book. So it was so special, so special. I will never forget that.
Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful story. And it's so, you know, it's interesting because we have Father's Day that's just around the corner. And fathers and father figures in our lives provide us with a lot of inspiration and love and support. And it's so fascinating that how that picture that you had, that you just shared with us, that was taken 60 years ago, it's kind of like a full circle moment. Because you have the first two books in your Blueley series, which are out now, and you go back and you say it all began then, even though specifically you didn't necessarily know it would begin then. But it's just so fascinating how things are coming full circle for you, which is fantastic. Starting off with Blueley the Happy Bluebird, a book about friendship and self-love. One of the things that I really love about the book is it really inspires kids to be able to connect with their imagination. And that's something I feel that, you know, kids pick up on a lot of things, right? And sometimes, you know, what they say may be very far-fetched, but it comes from their mind, it comes from their heart. And it's important that we're encouraging our children to be able to connect with their creativity and their imagination. In your work with children, in your work as a mom as well too, and just, you know, communicating with different parents and educators across the country, could you really speak to the creativity piece and to the imagination piece, and why it's essential for us to be able to allow kids to just be kids?
Right. So when they're little, their imagination is in high gear, right? They're imagining everything, like it is so beautiful. But then we tell them, no, you know, don't do this. You shouldn't do this. And then the imagination start going down, 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 and they don't express themselves as they expressed before. And I do believe that we as a parent have to encourage that imagination because it's so beautiful. For example, to my kids, I practice with them meditation and visualizations, and I love that. It's just 5 minutes. Even if it's 3 minutes, to teach our children to close their eyes and imagine something that they want. You know, use their imagination to create things, because I do believe that your thoughts create things. I do believe that. So I encourage my kids, for example, to use their visualization, to imagination and visualize things that they want to track. They even have their vision boards. I do vision boards with them. And I also teach them about meditation, which you can, if you're not agree with meditation, you also can do like a quiet moment, right? Just to breathe in and breathe out and feel relaxed and just enjoy that time with your children. I think it's very important. Yes.
It is. And just, I think that there's oftentimes as adults, we want to fast forward life, right? Like, you know, when your little one is born, and there's nothing wrong with planning ahead, but you can start wondering after your little one is born, okay, where are they going to go to college? What do they want to be when they grow up? And it's just so important to enjoy the experience of life. There's a framed picture that I have here in my office, and I've had it for many years, and it's inspired by the classic movie The Wizard of Oz. So here you see Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, and don't forget Little Toto too. And it's always reminding us it's about the journey.
Yes.
It's not about the destination. It's not about just that one singular specific moment. I also love the fact that Blueley is a happy bluebird.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's been so much sadness in the world for a long time, especially, you know, during the pandemic. You know, so many countless people passed away during the pandemic. There was different things that were happening around that point. Things like the Black Lives Matter, as well as the police brutality. We were seeing so many different things where it was kind of like our planet was crying almost.
Yeah.
And so you have this beautiful character coming in and just reminding us that, you know, despite what it is that what we may be experiencing collectively, that you can be happy and that life can be filled with more happiness and joy. We encourage all of our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars, to fully enjoy these books, because again, it's also very easy as well too, so that when we're reading to our kids, when we're reading to our grandkids, if we're an educator and we're reading to our students, we just want to get to the end of the book. And one of the things that I really took the time to do with both of your books is read them cover to cover. And these are the kinds of books that you can also enjoy again and again and again. We talked about the whole reinforcement, and that's something that I wanted to be able to mention before we actually talk about the books and what's inside of the books as well too. But if you can talk to us about the importance of the gentle reinforcement, reminding kids about that they're loved, to remind children that there's always something to be grateful for, to remind children that, you know, even if you just have one good friend is really all that you need, because there's a lot of people that unfortunately they feel they don't have any friends. Talk to us about the reinforcement, the gentle reinforcement that's needed from us when we pass along these messages to our kids, and why this is key to doing it every single day. Not just once, not just, you know, one time here and there, but every day. So
repetition is the key. You have to repeat constantly every day, you know, because we forget for sure. And as a children, they have the subconscious mind, a part of their mind open, totally open, and they're receptive to everything that is happening in the outside world, goes into that. So we have to talk to them in a positive way with positive words. And I will strongly suggest parents also to turn off the news when you are around your kids and your children, because all the things that you think that maybe they are 1 year old or they're even babies and they don't understand and they don't even talk. No, everything that is coming from the outside is going straight in the little minds, and that's why sometimes they grow feeling sad or that they're not worth it, and you know, and they for sure need these positive reminders all the time, every single day. Yeah, it's very important, especially when they're little.
The energy, the heart, and the intention are similar in both books, but they're also two completely different stories. Now, of course, we want to make sure that we're encouraging, whether it be parents, caregivers, grandparents, educators, those who love great children's books, to purchase and enjoy the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series. We can't give away the whole kit and caboodle, as we like to say here on the Children's Book Spotlight series. So could you give us a little sneak peek in terms of taking us inside the pages of both a book about friendship and self-love and a book about gratitude and self-love. Starting off with friendship and self-love, what will children and parents and families and educators, and again, those who love great children's books, be able to learn and experience when they are a part of Blueley's first book, followed by Blueley's second book?
Yeah, and Blueley, the happy bluebird, is a happy bird, right? Because she loves to be around friends. She loves to be around friends, and she sees the uniqueness in herself and in any individual. So that's very beautiful. And she feels sad when she doesn't have friends to play with, but she uses her imagination, and she thinks about good things and things that make her feel happy. So she feels happy again. Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that the book, brings in other friends, other characters, so to speak. So I know that one of my favorite characters is the little bunny in a book about friendship and self-love. And we see other characters as well too. We see a joyous raccoon as well too. So, oftentimes, again, kids, they can connect with, like, when kids go to the zoo, you always see them pointing at their favorite animals. So there's definitely some variety here for kids to be able to enjoy. I also love the fact on how really you share how friendship and self-love are the keys to a great future as well too. As we talked about earlier on in our time together, how they really, those are the keys for the foundation for the rest of our lives for our little ones. If you can also talk about a book about gratitude and self-love. So again, it's very easy to look at two titles and say, okay, so this book talks about friendship and self-love, and then this book talks about gratitude and self-love. Could you share this, how this particular book is different from the book about friendship and self-love, even though it still has a little bit of that same energy, that heart and the intention?
Yeah, I will say that the book that talks about gratitude, she is very grateful because she sees her and she can be grateful for every part of her body, like individual, right? And I like it because the Blueley's mom she loves to write gratitude lists. So she teaches Blueley writing this every morning, and she goes, at least write 3 things for what you are grateful for. So Blueley started using her imagination and start thinking about all the things that she's grateful for. So she started thinking about every part of her body and why she's grateful for every part of her body and how this part help her. To the eyes, for example, she can see the beautiful rainbow and things like that. So that's really powerful.
There is, again, going back to that, and thank you for sharing that. As we talked about and mentioned a few moments ago, that repetition, right? And it's important for us as parents and caregivers and grandparents and educators to remind children that they're loved and that they're special. That's why we're huge fans of Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, of course, the popular show that aired for many decades on PBS, but also gratitude, right? So Blueley has the beautiful relationship with her mother, and they're learning about the importance of gratitude. So at the very end of the book, you see passages such as, I am grateful for this beautiful world, that I am part of it too. And at the very end, especially, this is maybe one of my favorite illustration spreads in the book. You see Blueley, it's almost like Blueley's jumping up for joy.
Yes.
And she says, yes, it feels so good to be grateful. We all have lots of things to be grateful for. So likely in your work as a mindset coach, which I also wanted to touch upon here now, there's been research that's even been done that says, okay, when you wake up in the morning, write down 3 things or say 3 things that you're grateful for. And before you go to bed, the beloved spiritual teacher and New York Times bestselling author, Dr. Wayne Dyer, talked about, the last few minutes before you go to sleep, the last 5 minutes, 15 minutes, what do you want to be with as you go into that sleep state and you spend that time reflecting on your gratitude. I really love how you were incorporating the principles and the teachings and the beliefs and just the heart of your work as a mindset coach into these books for children. Could you share with us just like what that meant to you, knowing the fact, because oftentimes in life where we do different kinds of things, we're different entrepreneurs and whatnot, but it's not necessarily super easy to just integrate, the teachings and the beliefs into something. It really has to have a beautiful synergy. So what was it like for you both personally and professionally, knowing that you were able to integrate your work as a mindset coach into the both of these children's books?
For me, it was a blessing from heaven to be able to do this, because I honestly felt that I was a channel. Every time that I grabbed my pen and the paper, I felt like I was a channel. And it was like the universe gave me all these ideas and putting all this together beautifully. It was very actually easy. And sometimes I cried too when I was writing these books, because for me as a mom, it was like, this is so powerful. This needs to be, kids need to have this in their little hands. And it was so amazing. So everything was really, really powerful. I want to tell you something about gratitude that I practice with my kids. And I
Sure.
hope you as a parents that are there, they can do something like this. Like, not many weeks ago, I read this beautiful book from Rhonda Burns, The Magic Book. Actually, I listened to this book. And it's a book about gratitude. And I totally love it. And one of the things that I love to do, that I actually teach my kids to do, is to grab a rock from outside for your backyard. I did it. And then put it in your nightstand next to your bed. And before you go sleep, you grab your rock, you put it in your heart, there, feel your heartbeat. And then you think during the day, and you have many things to be grateful for, right? Pick one, just one. And then you say, thank you. For that one, you say, thank you, and feel it, and feel it. So it was so beautiful. I love it. I do that every day since then. So the thing is, my daughter saw me doing this. So she said, Mom, I want to do my gratitude rock too. I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful, of course. So she went there, she grabbed her rock, she painted, she put the purple little dots there. It was so beautiful. And that night, she grabbed her rock and do the same thing. So every night, I love to have the time to go upstairs to my kids and sit next to them and talk to them. And they do the meditation too, because I record a meditation for them. They listen to their meditations, and she put her gratitude rock like this. And I'm like, oh, that was so special. And it was so beautiful. And this is so easy, something that the kids love to do, because they love to have rocks and paint them, and show them in that way to be grateful, right? To go sleep. And how beautiful it is before you go sleep. Because, when you wake up, you're going to wake up refreshed and feeling much, much better, for sure. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can all do. That's a wonderful suggestion that all of us can do, whether, whether we're a parent and we have a child, whether we are a mom or a dad in waiting, or we just want to be able to do to nurture the inner child within ourselves.
Yes.
We encourage all of you, as we're beginning to wind down our time here on episode number 174 of PR from the Heart's Children's Book Spotlight Series. We are fully enjoying and having a lot of fun today with Blueley, the Happy Bluebird. The Blueley series is now available. We encourage all of you, again, our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course, our fellow shining stars, to head on over to Sara's official website, which again is Sara D'Ambrosio Mastermind.com. We've included the link below in the description below so that you can purchase your copies of the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series. Once again, a book about friendship and self-love, and a book about gratitude and self-love. They are now both available with Amazon as your preferred online vehicle of your choosing. You can leave a 5-star review for one or both books in the Blueley series to date. Again, those are just one of the many ways that you can pledge your support for Sara, to let her know that she's doing wonderful and much needed work for children, parents, families, educators, and those who love great children's books. And again, if you are a teacher, principal, librarian, superintendent, and you are interested in facilitating a virtual or an in-person author school visit with Sara, because of course, all of the educators around all across the country doing their part to already start preparing for the back-to-school season. Blueley is a great way to teach your students to fly to start off the 2023-2024 school year. So again, you can connect with Sara via her official website, which we've included below in the description below, to be able to connect with her to schedule an author school visit in the process. We always like to be able to provide some useful, supportive information, tips, tools, strategies for parents, caregivers, grandparents, educators that they can immediately extract from a children's book spotlight series episode and be able to integrate it to be able to pass it on into the children that are in their lives. And we like to try to keep things simple at the children's book spotlight series as well too, because we're not here to reinvent the wheel in many respects, because we're talking about gratitude and we're talking about self-love. You had mentioned that beautiful practice that you taught your daughter to do with the rock right before you go to bed. What are let's say a few other simple yet powerful ways that we can do our part to be able to teach our children about gratitude and self-love so that it becomes more automatic with them, that they know, they understand? It's really an energy that they emit. It's really something that is fully embodied within themselves. What are some simple yet powerful ways that we can be able to teach our little ones gratitude and self-love so that they can learn to practice it every day?
Yeah. So always tell your kids how special and how unique they are, how loved they are, always. And always always use thank you as a word, right? All the time they thank you, because all the time our children are listening to us, are imitating us, right? We have to be a role model for them. We lead by example. So they're all the time watching on us. So also there's a small simple practice, like on Sundays, for example, with my family, we do gratitude in the morning, like during breakfast. Every one of us have to say 3 things for what we're grateful for. And that's every Sunday. And my daughter always reminds me, Mommy, gratitude. So that's a way too, right? You do your own, but something like that, little things like that are fun, because kids love fun, right? And if you do that in a fun way, they will like it and they will do it. Yeah.
Those are some
reminders.
Yeah, those are, and I'm glad that you phrase it as reminders, because again, when we're a parent or when we're an educator, we've got a lot of things on our mind, we got a lot of things on our plate. So again, it's just about that, as we've talked about, the gentle reinforcements, the reminders, and knowing the fact that even the simplest of things will really make a very big difference in the lives of our children. The 2 ways that we always close out every children's book spotlight series, we always like to give a little tip of the cap to one of our favorite neighbors, of course, Fred Rogers, the host of the long-running children's television show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He did this in many ways, Sarah, during his time on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, when he had various college commencement speeches, talks across the country. When he received his Lifetime Achievement Award at the Daytime Emmy shortly before he passed from stomach cancer, he said the phrase, and he always kept the time for us, Sarah, whether it be 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or a full minute. He encouraged us to remember those who helped love us into being. And that was his way of saying, remember those people on our path that taught us to fly, that taught us that we are our own Blueley, the happy little bluebird. You obviously mentioned the connection that you have with your father, which is absolutely beautiful on so many levels. Who are some of the other people that you would like to publicly recognize here on episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight series that helped love you, Sara D'Ambrosio, into being?
I have many mentors, my parents, my mom. One of my mentors and teachers that he just recently passed is Bob Proctor. And yes, and I do believe that everything starts with self-love. That's what I put in all my books, self-love and self-love. Why? Because I know how important it's self-love, right? Know who we are, the uniqueness. Every one of us have talents and abilities, and we are unique. And I think my parents did a great job teaching me that I'm very special and unique, and always I felt love. So I was very fortunate to be, to grow in a family surrounded by love. And my mentors, as Bob Proctor and Catherine Cameron right now, they're my mentors. They are continuing me, teaching me, and it's I'm learning a lot from them. So, and I want to teach these concepts to the world. Yeah, I'm very grateful.
And you're doing an amazing job at that. Those are some, and I believe that Mr. Rogers always said that no matter if those people are near or they're far, or they've passed on and they're watching down from heaven, they're smiling, knowing that you are continuing to help others, to love them into being, and how they know that you are remembering them along your path, which is beautiful. And we always close out every children's book spotlight series as well with with an important reminder, because we have the gifts inside of us, gifts, skills, and talents. And it's important for us to be able to let others know that they have the abilities within them, that they too have their own skills, gifts, and talents to be able to bring to form and shape their dreams, their desires, their goals, their visions, their ambitions, that those things can come to life, that you too can fly. And so we here at the Children's Book Spotlight Series, we're huge Disney buffs as well. So we go back to the year 1992. We go back to, and we remember the late Robin Williams, who of course was the genie of the lamp in the Disney animated classic Aladdin. And of course, we have a little segment called 3 Wishes. So this is our trusty genie lamp here at PR from the Heart, here in our offices here in San Diego. You have given so freely from your heart to your own family, to children, parents, families, educators in Houston, across the country and around the world. So this is your opportunity to receive. So you're being given 3 wishes on episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series. I believe the only automatic disqualifiers are you can't force someone to fall in love with you, and you can't ask for more wishes. I think everything else is pretty much fair game. So these wishes, they can be for yourself, they can be for your family, they can be for the children of the world, they can be for our planet. So you're being given 3 wishes. What would they be?
One of my wishes will be that my series becomes so popular, and one day to fly to Africa and give my books to kids in Africa. I love that. Actually, it's one of my dreams. Actually, you just put the magic lamp there, and I have one product that is a magic lamp. It's just funny because you put the magic there like this, and I thought about my product, which is a magic lamp that it's amazing. It's just, anyways, one of my wishes was there, going to Africa one day and give them my products. Now I have in my mind my products and my books, like, give them to the kids there, because it's just so amazing. Anyways, another one will be help as much people in the world as I can, and yes, help them to know their true nature, who they really are, right? Because we are human beings, we are spirituals living in this physical body, and not the other way around. That's what we confuse. We're very powerful. I want to be more loved. I want to be more loved. I want to be better every day and give more. Yes, and see more miracles, because I see a lot of miracles already, but I want to be open to receive this all the time. And I know I am receiving this beautiful energy, but I want to be better and better, to extend more what I can give, Yeah, I think that's the most important for me.
Those are awesome wishes, and you're already doing your part right now to be able to be a vessel, a channel, a custodian of these kinds of messages. And this is why I'm super excited to know the fact that there are more Blueley, the Happy Bluebird books that are awaiting, and we are looking forward to sharing more of this throughout the month of May and into the beginning of June. More on the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series here through PR from the Heart. Again, we encourage all of you, our listeners and viewers, our friends and neighbors, and of course our fellow shining stars, to head on over to Sara's official website, which we have included in the description below, in addition to Amazon.com, to purchase your copies of the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series, a book about friendship and self-love, a book about gratitude and self-love as well. Again, for all educators, not only in Houston, Texas, but across the country and even around the world. If you are interested in facilitating a virtual or in-person author visit with Sara, you can connect with her via her official website that we have included in the description below. Let's keep the message of Blueley alive and well. This is something that, again, needs to continue to be shared and passed down and continue to be shared each and every day. Again, not just one day, not just during National Mental Health Awareness Month, but each and every day, because our children deserve it and we deserve it as well, too. Raise your hand if you have had fun. On episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series, we see hands up from Sara, hands up from myself. We see hands from the little ones on screen.
Yay,
Little Forrest is also excited. He is giving paws
I
up
know.
to the Blueley, the Happy Bluebird series. He's also enjoyed the series as well. So you know what we like to say here at the Children's Book Spotlight Series, when we see the 2 thumbs up, that means job well done and mission accomplished. If these messages that we have shared today, the messages of friendship and gratitude and self-love, and really the remembrance of that, the reminders of that, if you feel that these messages, if you feel that Blueley has lifted your spirits, has helped to open up your heart, if you feel that these messages and that Blueley truly needs to be shared with someone in need, someone who's maybe struggling that you know of, whether it be an adult, whether it be a little one, whether it be a senior citizen in your life, we encourage you, if you haven't had the opportunities to do so, to subscribe to PR from the Heart's official YouTube channel and to share this very special trolley stop that you have been enjoying. That is episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight Series. And we're super excited because there are many more magical trolley stops to come on the Children's Book Spotlight Series. We're going to be celebrating very shortly a benchmark episode. That is episode number 175. And sooner than we know it, we're going to be heading into our 5-year anniversary celebration this fall, followed by our 200th episode of the Children's Book Spotlight Series. So if you are a children's author, if you are a middle grade author, and you would like to be able to share your inspiring story in the release of your brand new book, just as Sara had the opportunities to do so this week here on the Children's Book Spotlight Series, we encourage all of you to head on over to our official website. That is prfromtheheart.com, or connect with us via any of our social media platforms that you now see on screen. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at PR from the Heart. And of course, we are looking forward to being of service to many of you little bluebirds out there who have a vision, a dream, a goal of being able to share your brand new children's book, your brand new middle grade book, with children, parents, families, educators across the country and around the world. If you are interested in facilitating a book media tour in a city of your choosing, if you're interested in facilitating a featured television interview or television interviews in a city of your choosing, if you are interested in more information on, and we are super excited, by the way, before we officially wrap up, we encourage all of you to stay connected with us in the month of June at PR from the Heart, because David Newell, of course, we know him and we love him as David Newell, but many of you remember him as the beloved Mr. McFeely on the long-running children's television program, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. David and I will be sharing and reviewing both books in the Blueley the Happy Bluebird series as part of our June episode, our June edition of PR from the Heart's Neighborly Reviews Bookcast. We'll be talking about a book about friendship and self-love, a book about gratitude and self-love. So that will be happening in the month of June. If you are a children's author that are interested in having David and I share and review your brand new children's book on a forthcoming edition of the Neighborly Reviews Bookcast, you can schedule your courtesy connection call by heading on over to our official website, prfromtheheart.com, or any of our social media platforms. You can connect with us in the process and let us see how we can be of service to you to help your dreams take flight. One final time, feel free to head on over to Amazon.com to leave your 5-star review of Blueley the Happy Bluebird, a book about friendship and self-love, as well as Blueley the Happy Bluebird, a book about gratitude and self-love. You can also purchase the books available now through Sara's official website. If you're an educator, whether it be in Houston, Texas, across the country, or around the world, and you would like to be able to facilitate a virtual or an in-person author school visit with Sara during the 2023-2024 school year, you can connect with her via her official website in the process, which we have included in the description below. We want to thank you for your continued support of local libraries and children's and independent bookstores, truly the pillars of our community. And above all else, we want to thank you for helping us to walk home the children of the world. Our last reminder for all of you, we are so grateful that the memory, the spirit of Mr. Rogers is still with us. During his life here on Earth, he always shared his favorite 3 numbers, which were 1, 4, 3. Somehow Mr. Rogers weighed 143 pounds during his entire natural adult life. But believe it or not, did you know that there's 1 letter in I, 4 letters in love, 3 letters in you? That was his reminder of saying that he loved you, that he loved all of us. As Sara was kind enough to join us and give us some of her free time this week, we like to share our favorite 3 numbers on the Children's Book Spotlight series that are 243. There's 2 letters in we, 4 letters in love, and 3 letters in you. That is our reminder of your inherent worth, your inherent value, that we like you, that we love you just the way that you are loved and you are special just the way that you are. So again, for Sara D'Ambrosio, for my poor little Forrest, and for myself, we want to thank you for spending some time with us here in our neighborhood. We want to thank you for joining us here on episode number 174 of the Children's Book Spotlight series. Thank you for, again, helping us to walk home the children of the world, our fellow friends, our fellow neighbors, and our fellow shining stars. Goodbye for now. You want to wave bye, little guy? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yay.